Okay, y'all saw the title of the video, and unless you travel, you would not know what this means. So let's discuss a new thing coming out from the European Union. So, from the countries that are now a part of the European Union, there's this thing called Etias. It stands for European Travel Information and Authorization System. There was a time when if you were from the United States, Canada, New Zealand, or Australia, you only needed your passport and a visa to travel Europe. From what I read now, you also have to have this ETIAS authorization before you can step in Europe. Now, Great Britain, what we consider England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, anything in that vicinity, you have to have something called ETA. But for all countries in the European Union, you now have to have this Etias thing, or Etias, or whatever they call it. Which means if you know you're going to travel to these countries for €8, for €7, which I think is $8 US, you have to have passed some security thing showing that you are not a risk in this system. Since I put that up at the beginning of this video, I'll let you all read between the lines. Here's my theory about this, and I'm not going to keep y'all long. Okay, what I read said that if you have a visa, you still have to have a visa after 90 days. But under 90 days, you have to have this ETIAS. And it'll last you every 3 years before you have to renew it. So here's my theory. You all may not remember, this is when I kept up with the royal families of the world back then. There was an attack at a kids' camp that primarily had a lot of immigrants in Norway, a guy named Anders Breivik. And he was a white nationalist in that country. And I think he was the beginning of people starting to see that even if Western countries want to be diverse, they're trying to curb immigration. Because I suspect that the United States will start to get strict too, and I'm already hearing reports of even Europeans being detained when they come into the United States on flights. Don't know how true that is. I've just seen it in passing. To travel Europe now is going to become difficult. And you could say, oh, this is only $8 US. What's the big deal? What happens when it jumps to 10? What happens when it jumps to 20? What happens when it jumps to 100? See, everybody here don't know what I know, because I've always wanted to fly private on a plane at least once, so I keep up with the upgrades on planes and stuff, and I think the American airliners are now starting to do so, where they're slowly going to edge out regular economy class. What this is a sign of is something that I've seen and known all along, is that travel is going to go back to what it was in the 1960s, where it's a privilege to travel. And in order to do so, you're going to pay more for a ticket but get more for your value, which is already happening with some airlines like Etias, Qatar Airlines, and Emirates. The reason they don't have enough new planes in the sky is because all airliners, even the American ones, are installing upgraded economy seats in order to accommodate people's changing tastes. And you would think, well, what does this European Etias have to do with it? They're preparing for a time when they can trace you, because travel is going to be a privilege. And if you don't belong somewhere, people are going to know that you don't belong there. That's what I'm taking from this. I put in down in the comments the article from Condé Nast Traveler. This is a real thing. It can start as early as now. If you want to step again in Great Britain, you've got to get that ETA first. And you may also have to have this Etias. But anything that's in the European Union, you have to have Etias before you can visit that country. It's an $8 authorization that lasts you 3 years, stating that you can step within that country on the European continent. This is what I take from it. Y'all can, for those of y'all that travel, let me know, because I know I got some listeners overseas, because this isn't just affecting the United States. Typically, like I said, us, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada could just jump on a plane if we were in those countries less than 90 days with our passports, and that was enough. It won't be that way anymore. Between that and the fact that they're upgrading all of these planes, travel is going to be increasingly something that you can do only if you can afford a ticket that's probably $4,000-5,000 plus dollars. Travel is about to become a luxury. And right now, it's not that people can't afford €8, but what happens when it jumps in price? My theory is because the European Union is said to be struggling, this is just another way to get people to pay revenue. And depending on who you ask when it comes to financial predictions, Europe as a whole is dying anyway. But I digress. If you all travel, are going to travel, please go to the European Union's website and look into this Etias. Because as early as October of this year, and as of January of this year right now, you have to give a certain day's notice and be in a system somewhere in Europe showing that you are authorized to now step on certain places on that continent. All right. Let me know what y'all think. Have a good day.